Hey, this is Jordan Rudess with Dream Theater for QSC Audio and American Musical Supply. Well, it's been an interesting thing to watch because we're coming from synthesizer, or I'm coming from synthesizers like a Mini Moog, which you can play organically. I mean, you can go up to it and you can literally get cool sounds and figure it out without knowing anything, like, on the academic side of things. At some point, after the Mini Moog came out, synthesizers started to turn to more digital, and digital technology became more prevalent. And then what happened was kind of sad in a way, good in a way, but sad in another way, because we started to have synthesizers that didn't have knobs or sliders. We only had one little tiny screen and maybe a little slider or two. And the only way to really operate it and to make anything happen of your own was to really understand what was going on, because you had to call up very specific parameters to get changes in the synthesis. It just meant really that people had to go to school, to learn synthesis. And that's actually what started to happen. It wasn't when I grew up and I could just kind of immerse myself in it and figure it out and kind of teach myself. Now to do it, you actually had to be, trained or, really do some serious studying on your own. That kind of morphed around again too, where people said, oh, I miss all the sliders and the knobs, and people started to put those back on the synthesizers. But meanwhile, the whole world had kind of got in this preset mode where everybody was just, looking for presets, and everybody became a synthesist, and studios had these keyboards, and people could play triads and kind of knock through whatever it was, and you had, MIDI sequencers, which were, incredible inventions. But suddenly, your guitarist buddy down the road, he didn't need your help at the keyboards, because he had a little keyboard and he had his computer, and all he really needed to do was play chords. But then, more recently, so the software has begun to develop, the tools get really interesting, and some of the kinds of synthesis that we have in our world today, things like granular synthesis or additive synthesis or advanced sampling or modeling, these are amazing ways to create sound. Most recently, we have this kind of large movement of people creating synthesis on the mobile devices, things like iPads and iPhones, and it's really pretty incredible what you can do. And not only in the sense that you can kind of do what you did on hardware synthesizers of old, but you have all this brand new kind of thinking that goes behind it, which is the reason that I started my own app company to make musical products. Because the first time I touched an iPhone and I thought about sound, I was like, wow, by using this multi-touch surface, I can really think about new ways of expression by moving my finger maybe in a vertical dimension or different angles to create shapes of sound. Combine that with the visual element, and all of a sudden we're in a whole new world once again, which is very, very exciting.